Hi everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Monday. It's this week's edition of Mary's Monday Musings. We'll wait a few minutes, let a couple people hop on. Oh, we got a few people. Alright, let me flip it around. I don't want to scare anybody. Hello. Hi, Tarsha. Thanks for hopping on. I can't tell all the time who's on. So, let's see. I'm not going to swipe anything. Hi, Christy. I'm not going to do anything. Says you can do this to see your viewers. You can do that. I'm not going to do anything because I'm afraid I'm going to mess it up. And my husband informed me there's a big storm warning coming. So, hi, Barbara. So, of course, every Monday night there's some either natural disaster, operator error, or something that goes on. But I'm not going to let that stop me. I'm going to keep, we'll be careful. Thank you. I'm going to keep doing these because I just feel called to do them. And people have said that they enjoy watching them and that they benefit from them. So this is kind of like a little ministry I've got. So I'll keep doing it as long as anybody keeps tuning in. We'll wait just another minute. Thanks for the love. I appreciate it. Anybody that you think could benefit from this, please feel free to share with them. We're going to talk about tribes and attracting our tribe and what kind of a member of the tribe we are tonight. And I kind of got the idea this morning from a couple that were on the retreat in Florida with me and some of my other friends who are on here now. So we'll talk about that in a minute. And I have permission to talk about them. I actually got permission this morning. So, hey, Catherine, I was just saying how I was going to talk about you guys and how I had permission this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Hopefully we'll get finished here. Not go too long tonight, and we'll beat the crazy storms, which could knock me off, and I don't want to do that. So I've been thinking a lot about how much I've changed in the last few years. Thanks, Barbara. In the last few years, even really just in the last few months. For a few years, my mom died a few years ago, and even after we finished the active grieving process, I think just a part of me just kind of died a little bit when that happened and kind of shut down. And a lot of things in the past that had kind of affected me, a lot of things just came bubbling up to the surface. And so I think I just kind of got in a big slump. I didn't have interest in writing anymore. I didn't have interest really in any of my dreams anymore. And it happened, of course, the grief process is crazy and it goes up and down. But anyway, she was not the kind of person that would want us to forego anything because of her. If anything, she was an example of how to make every day an adventure. And I credit her with my having that spirit. My daughter even talked about her at her funeral, how she would put her purse on her arm and head out, and whether it was the grocery store or a vacation in Europe, every day was an adventure for her. She made friends, never met a stranger. She and my dad both. The hospital, the grocery store, bus stop, anywhere. So I think I got that adventurous spirit from them and that view of life from them. So I'm grateful for that. And I think she would approve of my trying to cheer people up and let them know that that it's going to be okay, because that's what she said a lot. So anyway, so I got thinking about tribes, and I watched a live that my friends Catherine and Kenny Heeb did. I guess Catherine, I don't remember if it was Sunday night, but it was sometime over the weekend, and we were a little bit unplugged. So, hey Bonnie. So I don't remember exactly, but sometime over the weekend, and it was so great because Catherine and Kenny came back from the retreat in Florida just on fire. And they had made a plan and wrote down some goals. Catherine's great because she's a little firebrand and super organized. And so I know she got everything right on track. And Kenny appreciated it, I'm sure, because he's a really hard worker, and they make a great team. But they've been really generous in sharing all the ups and downs. And it's been such an encouragement for me. And that's one of the ways that I was thinking I had changed. I'm really super, super happy for them. And I don't even stop to think, well, gosh, I wish that were me. I don't have any resentment or anything. I have nothing but admiration for them and appreciation for their generosity of spirit and their humility in sharing, these are the problems we were having, and these are the ways that we solved them. Or these are issues we were dealing with, and these are some solutions we came up with. And they've just been really open and honest about it, and it's been such an inspiration, and I just so appreciate it. And it helps me not be so hard on myself when I don't reach a milestone or reach a goal that I've set in the time frame that I've set it. Because I know that, like them, you can just kind of go back to the drawing board and redo and rethink and refine and know that you're not going to get everything right the first time. I mean, if you could, it wouldn't be a dream. It wouldn't be worth going after if you didn't learn anything. So I did want to just let them both know that I really appreciate that. And I am rooting for you just as hard as anybody else. And they're not the only ones. There are a lot of people who, yeah, it is Grace, I know. Thank you, Catherine, for that. And you all certainly are deserving of that. Several of the people, all of us who were in there were impacted, and all of us started planning and started formulating some concrete ways that we were moving our dream forward. Some of us are farther along than others. Some have a more long-term plan, but we all support each other and encourage each other and lift each other up. And it got me thinking about how lucky I am to be in this tribe. But not only that, I already had a really good tribe. I'm blessed in that way. Not only my family, but several friends in my life who have always encouraged me and pushed me and held me accountable. The old tough love thing. They cared about me enough to do that too. And I do that with them. And that's a blessing. So my tribe grew when I was in Orlando. And boy, that's really, really awesome. Hey, Tramika, good to see you. Hi, Cassie. So anyway, there's the saying about your vibe attracts your tribe. And so I wanted to look at that from a couple different perspectives, because it sounds, kind of simple. And what it kind of means is, if you believe in the law of attraction, if you follow that, or really, any kind of biblical teachings at all, you want to treat other people the way you want to be treated. But you also, what you put out into the world comes back to you. So there's a very practical reason for being an encourager and being genuinely joyful and happy for others who achieve success. Because if we're happy and grateful for them, that happiness and gratitude comes back on us, and we're equally as blessed as we bless others. And I really believe that, and I found that to be true my whole life. That's right, Barbara. Garbage in, garbage out. So it's a kind of a talking to myself and something that we have to consider about our own actions, about how we are members of a tribe. But we also need to think about a couple of other things. You know, Jim Rohn was a world-renowned motivational speaker and entrepreneur. I just really admired him. I was very sorry when he passed away because he's just provided decades of business advice for people, and it's so down to earth, and he had such a great sense of humor, and I think that's why I enjoyed him, because he was never preachy. He always had a joke to make his point, and he said that you become like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And stop and think about that for a minute, you know? I mean, even at your job, think about the 5 people that you interact with every day, day in and day out. You know, if it's your job, sometimes you can't do anything about it. Unless you can transfer to another department or quit your job, I guess. If the 5 people that you're around there are not good for you, spiritually, emotionally, in terms of your career, in terms of your success, if their energy is not good. And that's not to say they have to be like you. That's not to say they have to have the same work style. One is a priest. Well, that's always good, Barbara. You're probably one ahead of the rest of us. So we don't have to all be alike, but we have to all have a similar goal, and that is to have each other's back. And that's very important. So not only do we have to have somebody else's back, we have to surround ourselves with people that we know are going to have our back. So be very careful when you decide who you're going to hang out with. And that doesn't just apply in real life. That applies online too. One of the things in this coaching group that a lot of us are in talks about, you know, we have friends who say, I can't stand Facebook. It's so negative. I'm going to get off. Well, it's not Facebook that's negative. It's what people are posting that's negative. And when we like it or argue with them, Facebook thinks that that's because, you know, we want to see that. If we're liking it, or even if we're saying, oh, that's so negative, or oh, you shouldn't do that, you know, you shouldn't talk like that. Facebook thinks that we like it because we've interacted with it. And so the algorithm, the bot that goes through and figures out our behavior, says, oh, they like this. They like all this negative stuff. I'm going to keep feeding them the negative stuff. And so it keeps coming up and keeps coming up. So it's not Facebook. I love my news feed now. I had to go through and actually unfollow a whole bunch of people. I wanted to stay friends with them and be supportive of them, and I actually put them in temporary timeout in some cases. And sometimes people are just having a hard time, and I'm not talking about that, and I'm not talking about people who say, oh, you know, I'm having a hard time, or, you know, it's just the people who constantly don't have anything good to say about anybody or about anything in their lives. And you want to be compassionate, but at the same time, you can't let that energy drain you, because it does, and it distracts you from, you know, from your other friends. It distracts you from your dream. If you are around people who only complain, who don't celebrate you, you know, we need to go where we're celebrated and not just tolerated. But it also is important, you know, that we become cheerleaders for others, because it does. It puts it back into the universe, all that positive energy. And I wanted to share just a couple of quick things. You know me, I always have to go research stuff. So some characteristics, some things, the cranky lady and Pollyanna. Yes, Christy, I agree. Some of those people do. Some characteristics that you want to use to determine who your tribe is going to be, or one of your tribes at least. You want to, do they make you feel that you have what it takes to reach your goals? That's super important, because people can be well-intentioned maybe and say, oh, you know, I hate to see you do that. You're going to be so disappointed when you can't achieve your goal. And I mean, that's kind of a backhanded way of expressing concern for you or trying to be a friend. a lot of times people are envious because they're not going after their own dream. And it's a passive aggressive thing, and they may not even realize they're doing it. I don't think everyone is ill intentioned. Do they support you? Do they make you feel good about yourself? Do you feel happy and energized when you interact with them, and when you're around them? Do they drain the energy out of you, or do they fill you up? Those are some really important things to think about, because we just don't have a whole lot of time to waste. So, and like I said, people can be different. We don't all have to be the same. We just have to have the same intention, and that is to help each other and to lift each other up. And there's a term now, my daughter will tell me, I'm sure, that I'm too old to use the term hater. But there are haters out there, and there are people who are angry and jealous, and they're going to always say something negative every time we try to share something that we want to celebrate with our friends in our news feed. They're going to chime right in. It's almost like sometimes I think they wait around for us to post something positive and uplifting, something that, a way that we can share that we've moved our dream forward, and they're jumping right on it, finding, some kind of a way to turn things around negatively. So it can be really hard to separate ourselves from them, especially if they're family, if they're close friends, if they're coworkers. But we have to do whatever we can to insulate ourselves from those people, because our dreams are too important. Our coach and mentor John Eric says, the world needs our dreams, and it's our responsibility to achieve our dreams because the world needs them. Somebody else's dream could be dependent on us achieving ours, or at least going after ours. So for no other reason, do it because the world needs it, even if it's not about you. So we need to look for opportunities to shine the spotlight on somebody else. That's why I especially wanted to talk about Catherine and Kenny, because they are so generous, and because they do deserve. That's right, Christy, a thick skin without a hard heart. That's not easy to do. But like I said, I wanted to spotlight them. There are a lot of others. I mean, Barbara and Christy, both of you, have been working towards your dreams too. Not as overtly maybe, and not at the same pace, but in the background there's a lot going on. I know, because I'm in touch with you all a lot. And unless you go after your dream, you can't understand how much courage it takes to put yourself out like that. Sometimes it's a financial risk, sometimes it's an emotional risk, it's a risk of friendships or whatever. And unless you're one of those dreamers who's going after what you want, you can't really understand. So we need to be compassionate of others and realize what they're going through, and that's another reason to encourage them. Another way that we can be happy for others and encourage them is to have gratitude ourselves. We need to find the areas of our lives that we're grateful for. What are the things going on in our lives that we can express gratitude for? Because when we learn to do that, then we aren't as focused on what other people have or don't have. And the biggest killer, I think, is to compare ourselves with others. And that's so easy to do too, either in a negative way against them, saying, oh, well, it's easy for them because, or, oh, they're better than me because. And both of those can just be deadly to a dream. It's hard to stay positive all the time. But if we surround ourselves around people who challenge us to do that, to look past the hardships and the heartache, and who support us through that, who hold our hands, who, encourage us, who give us grace to fail, who give us grace to not get it right, who give us grace to just be ourselves and to be human, then we're going to get there, and that's just so important. I don't know if you all have any other ideas or advice. I really appreciate you chiming in as you have tonight, because it helps, direct the conversation. Yeah, I think if were around priests on a day in and day out basis, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. But I've got all of you all. We've got a great tribe, and my tribe is really awesome, and I just appreciate all of you so much. Yeah, as long as you have your tribe, we'll be fine. We really are blessed to have each other, and I have another tribe at the part-time job where I've been working since October, and I gave my notice that I'm going to be leaving in a couple weeks, and it's been really sad because I've really grown to love those women, and it's tough because they're another tribe that I'm a part of, or part of the great big, another branch of the tribe, and there are some of them that I just love to work with because we work hard, and sometimes we're kind of crabby, or maybe we don't like the manager or whatever, We love all of the managers, but, there's some personalities that just mesh better, and some coworkers that you mesh better. And, but some of them in particular make it so much fun. We laugh and we joke and we work hard, but we have a good time too, and we enjoy each other's company, and have gotten to know each other and know about each other's lives. So it's like anything, I guess it's what you make out of it. So anyway, I want to just share one last thing that I just think says so much. You talk about a dreamer. I think everybody in the world knows who Mark Phelps is, or Michael Phelps, the Olympic swimmer who's won like record-breaking number of medals. And he had some rough patches there for a while. I think maybe his tribe wasn't as good as it should have been. But I was really proud of him this last go-round. And there was a picture that was all over the internet for a while. And I'm going to flip this around because I just want to show it to you all real quick. I don't know. I hope that's not backwards. It says, winners focus on winning. Losers focus on winners. Isn't that great? And I think that kind of really sums up, the reality. We need to just stay in our lane, keep our blinders on, keep going. Don't compare ourselves, and don't listen to the haters. So anyway, well, thanks for being my tribe and hopping on here tonight. I really love y'all, and I appreciate it. Keep going after your dreams because the world needs them. I'll talk to you next Monday. Bye-bye.